Hey, you're listening to the Pirates and Poets podcast. Try that 3 times real fast. Ah!
Hello, Pirates. Welcome to the first episode of the Pirates and Poets podcast. I'm John Boy.
And I'm Dammit, Earl. We're bringing you this from Dammit Boy Studios.
It's a wonderful place we have here.
It's a cozy spot.
It's kind of like a morgue or a dungeon.
It's not a dungeon or a morgue. It's my, not living room. What is this? It's my office.
It's like Ducky's morgue.
It's my office space.
It's Ducky's morgue, dude.
There is a book in embalming over there. Okay. Now that we're through talking about my abode, we're going to calm down a little bit. And since this is the first episode of the Pirates and Poets podcast, we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to ask John Boy a few questions about Pirates and Poets for any of those that may not know the history, may not know what all's going on or what we do. So, John Boy, the first question I want to ask you is, where did Pirates and Poets start and when did it get started?
Well, Pirates and Poets kind of came from a lot of road trips in the van with Jerry and Mark and you. For a while there in the summer of 2010, we had this running joke that I should start my own event and call it John Boy Fest. And then I just kind of decided, well, you know, big events with bands cost a lot of money. And at the time I was like totally broke. So I said, songwriters. Songwriters are cheaper than full bands. So I decided it was going to be a songwriter type event and that I wanted to have it in Port Aransas. And I came up with the name Pirates and Poets. I pretty much ripped it off a Kenny Chesney album. So I planned all of this in the fall of 2010, and we had the first event in Port Aransas in February of 2011.
And that was a great time too. So
it was. We had Jerry Diaz and Dennis Davis and John Arthur Martinez all played.
Yes, I really enjoyed him. So, all right. So, well, that's one thing. Now let's find out a little bit more. What was your original vision for Pirates and Poets, and how has that changed over the years?
Well, originally it was just going to be a once a year songwriter show in Port Aransas, and that's what it was for several years. The first 3 years, I guess. 2012 and 2013, we had the single events in Port A again. And then, I guess about January of 2013, our good friend Barry Terrell from T-Bone Tom's contacted Jerry and said, I'd like to start doing a songwriter show once a month at T-Bone Tom's on Wednesday nights. So Jerry got with me, and we decided to call those shows Pirates and Poets as well. So we started having a show every month at T-Bone Tom's. We started doing that in March of 2013. We've had a lot of great musicians, great songwriters come through and do that show in the last 2 years. We've had a lot of fun with it.
You know, mentioning Barry, I have to say the reason this has all worked so well is the many sponsors that have helped out through this thing. I know T-Bone Tom's, Barry Terrell, Raylene, Rum Distilleries, they've done a lot. And so just tell us a little bit about the sponsors that have helped out so much.
Well, yeah, Kelly and Matt Raylene have been with Pirates and Poets since the first show in 2011. And to be honest with you, I don't know that we would have gotten past the 2012 event if the event would have continued if it hadn't been for their support. The first year or two attendance was pretty low, and their presence at the show really kind of made the whole party along with the musicians. And like I said, and then Barry came along and gave us his opportunity to do the weekly show at T-Bone Tom's, the monthly show at T-Bone Tom's. And the whole concept has really gone to another level since then because we have a constant presence year round. And all that is due to Barry's generosity and support of live music.
Well, you know, I'm glad you said it like you did, because my next question I had for you is, where do you see Pirates and Poets going in the future?
Well, obviously this podcast is kind of the next step. And actually, in 2013, we had the event in Port A, and we had 8 or 9 shows at T-Bone Tom's over the course of the year. And this year in 2014, we had the event in February. We've had more shows at T-Bone Tom's, but we've also had added house concerts. We've hosted 3 so far and are getting ready to host our 4th here in just a few weeks. We're going to talk about that later on. We've also added in 2014 some swag. We had Pirates and Poets t-shirts. We've just added some Pirates and Poets koozies, that kind of stuff. So it's become a little bit more of a brand and a lifestyle kind of brand, I guess, than just a music thing, but the music is still at the heart of it all.
Awesome. All right, so how can anybody help support Pirates and Poets?
Well, the biggest way people can support Pirates and Poets is to, come to our shows, whether it's the monthly shows at T-Bone Tom's or the annual show down in Port Aransas. We'll talk more about both those as we get into this episode. The other thing is just tell your friends about it. We have a Facebook page. We post on there a couple times a week. Share those status updates. We have an email list. People can sign up for that. When you get the email, forward it to all your friends who enjoy live music, especially trop rock and Americana type music. Tell everybody about it. Help us get people out. Support the musicians. Support our sponsors, and we'll keep it going.
Great. All right, John Boy. One more thing I want to ask you.
Okay.
Why a podcast? And what are your plans for the podcast?
Well, the podcast is almost kind of like starting the event in the first place. It's something we've laughed about and joked about for a long time. So, hey, why not try it? The long-term plan is kind of a mix of episodes like this one that are you and me talking about current events and music and just about anything that kind of strikes our fancy, I guess, along with episodes where we interview people who, I guess for the best way to put it is, who are living the Pirates and Poets lifestyle, I guess.
We seem to know a lot of those.
We do know a lot of those people. They're a lot of fun to be around. Our first interview is going to be Kelly Raylene, who, as I already mentioned, has been a great supporter of Pirates and Poets from day one. So I'm excited to have her on as our first guest. And hopefully we'll have a lot of fun with this podcast. Hopefully people will enjoy it, especially people who don't live right here on the Texas coast. People who live off in, Eskimo land or wherever can get a little taste of what we do around here and have a little fun with this without having to drive the whole way. So that's the plan for right now, but of course it could change at any moment. So
Perfect. Thank you, John Boy.
All right, Dammit, Earl, how are you today?
Well, I'm okay. I've had a fun day at work, and now I'm home, and it's getting cold and wet outside, and here we sit in my lovely abode, and my computer's quit working.
So tell us, first off, a
good right today.
A cold front came through a couple hours ago and took us from about 70 to, it's probably about 50 now, but it's going to get colder tonight.
They're saying that, and I dread every minute of it. So
we pretty much hate cold weather.
I'm going to have to actually put long pants on, and I'm not happy about that.
When was the last time you wore long pants?
Actually, Saturday, but that was just for a short time.
When was the last time you wore long pants for an entire day?
That probably would have been last February.
Yeah. And you spend a lot of time outside.
Yeah, but I don't like pants. And I'm not going to live where I have to wear pants. Not if I can help it.
For those who don't know, Uncle Earl and I both used to live in Arkansas. And we moved here to the Galveston Bay area because we were tired of freezing our asses off for 6 or 7 months out of the year.
Luckily where I was, it wasn't as bad as where John Boy was. It's usually stayed about 10 degrees warmer where I was than he was living in, but I still didn't like it. It was time to get a little closer to the water and a lot warmer. So
yeah, so I'm complaining about being 50 here right now, but in Fayetteville, where I used to live, it's probably about 35 right now. So I'll take my 50 and be happy with it, I guess.
Oh, I'm very content, very very happy.
Yeah.
But
so tell us about the computer.
Well, the computer's crashed. I've got a virus because there's some little guy in Russia who's decided that he needs to mess up my life, and he is doing a really good job of it. And between him and the little rugrat that keeps running around up and down the on my ceiling, I don't know. And I have a neighbor upstairs that's driving me crazy. So I love them, but they make a lot of noise.
Why don't you tell everybody how the little rugrat sounds when he runs up there?
Well, he starts at one end and he goes, and it never stops. This goes on all hours of the day and night. This little child doesn't sleep. The parents don't sleep. Nobody sleeps, apparently, except me. And maybe I'm not sleeping much either because I seem to hear it all the time. But the important thing going on here now is not so much the little kid stomping on my head as we do this. It's my computer crashing and this little kid in Russia, this little 13-year-old kid who wrote this program just to mess with me. He knew it was me that he was messing with, and he had vision.
So is Dammit, Earl, is that like a form of identity theft protection? If anybody tries to steal your identity, there's really nothing behind Dammit, Earl except like a website, dammitarl.com.
Well, we really can't talk about that a lot because if the truth comes out, people will know, and we've got to keep a lot of secrets. There's certain things that if I need to go incognito somewhere, we just can't let too much information out.
The flats.
The flats.
That's all we can say about it.
Well, we will go as far as saying the flats are in Port Aransas, and they're only visited on certain times of the year.
And it's kind of scary. You pretty much have to be lit to walk in the front door, to be honest about it.
Yeah, and it better be about 2 a.m.
Yeah. So, all right. You are a great connoisseur of TV. You watch TV shows that no other human being has ever heard of.
No, most people know them. You're the only one who doesn't.
And you have entire seasons of shows that nobody else cares about or has even heard of.
My Name is Earl. That's the only show I own all the seasons of.
No, I mean on your DVR. Like you record just like you're the guy on the TV commercials complaining about, I can't record more than 4 shows at once.
Am I the creepy Rob Lowe?
Possibly. You are the creepy Rob Lowe, yes. So I want to talk about TV for a minute, something I rarely do.
Oh, no, you do it all the time. But there's only 2 shows that you talk about.
Yes. This will surprise no one. Everybody knows me knows that I've been a huge NCIS fan for many years, and they know how much I love New Orleans. So when they announced that they were going to have an NCIS New Orleans,
it was the perfect storm.
It was a perfect storm. It was like the greatest day of my life. NCIS New Orleans on Bourbon Street, right by the Bourbon Orleans Hotel. It's wonderful, and it's nice to see all these places that we go and we love. They filmed on Bourbon Street. They filmed on the balcony of the Tropical Isle, which is owned by some friends of ours. But the coolest thing about the whole show to me is that Big Time TV has decided to pay attention to the Gulf Coast. They've decided to have a TV show that's not in New York or Washington, D.C. or L.A. They're on the Gulf Coast. And I just think that's really neat. And I can't think of any other TV show that's ever been set in New Orleans or Houston or anywhere on the Gulf Coast. Miami's probably the closest I can think of any show coming.
Well, I'm just trying to think. I love the show. I really do. Scott Bakula, I have a problem with his accent. He's really pushing it hard, trying to be a New Orleans boy, and it's just tough to me. But I love the show. I'm telling you. When I saw the Tropical Isle and saw how they stripped down everything on the balcony, so you couldn't tell it was Tropical Isle, but we knew.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, I was so excited.
Yes, and I'm kind of hoping the office there, that NCIS office, actually serves the entire Gulf Coast. There was one episode where they kind of got off, talked about Gulf Shores and Mobile. So I have hopes that maybe, we'll see them at actual scenes set in Panama City Beach or Galveston. That'd be just awesome to see NCIS on the seawall.
Oh, that would.
Yeah. So and they started off the first 3 or 4 episodes really pushing all the New Orleans French Quarter cliches. And now they kind of backed off that some. They kind of, I guess, wanted to set where it was at, and now they've kind of gone back into more, not leaning so hard on the cliches.
Yeah, the only other show I can really think of that's been out lately is called True Detective. It was a series on HBO. It was based out of the New Orleans area, and they even come over into Beaumont, Texas, and all around in the Houston area some. So it was kind of crazy.
And Treme.
Treme.
I can't believe we forgot Treme.
Yeah.
But both those shows are on HBO.
Yes.
I can't think of anything that's ever been on CBS or NBC or anything like that's been set on the Gulf Coast.
I can't either.
So that's really cool. So it's great. We love to see people supporting the Gulf Coast and places that don't have snow year round.
How does it really make you feel?
It makes me really happy. How do you feel today?
I'm feeling better all the time. Good. If my computer was working right now, things would be so much better. But at the moment, I'm just looking at a blank screen.
Okay, guys, anybody who's listening, and this is the first episode, so there may be, Cooler Day is probably listening, but that's probably the only person. Anyway, anybody who is listening that thinks that we should start a Kickstarter to get Dammit Earl a new computer that is protected from Russian hackers and rugrats running above his head, send us an email, and maybe we'll get to work on that so Dammit Earl can have a peaceful life and sleep at night.
I love my computer.
Okay. Right now, we want to take a few minutes and talk about a few upcoming events that we have, some shows. On November 19th, Wednesday, November 19th, we will have the next Pirates and Poets Songwriter Showcase at T-Bone Tom's in Kemah.
Now, I want to mention something. This is always the third Wednesday of the month, unless it's not. For a while, we were doing it on Thursdays, but we're back to Wednesdays now. So.
Yes, it is the third Wednesday of the month. For November and December, there will be no January show because we are going to be getting ready for Party Gras, and that's,
too much going on.
You can only do so many things at once. And I'm not sure what the schedule is past January. We haven't gotten that far yet. But on Wednesday, November 19th, our host, Jerry Diaz, will be joined on stage by...
Well, a couple of guys. One's a local musician that a few people may have heard of. His name's Kelly McGuire. And the other is a fellow coming from out of town, out of state.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
There you go. His name is Dennis McCaughey, and he's with the band Tropical Soul. Both are really accomplished singers and songwriters, and we're excited to have them here.
Oh, yeah. And if you've never been to one of these songwriter shows before, I'll take a minute and kind of tell you how they work. All three guys, Jerry, Kelly, and Dennis, will be on stage together. They will play their own songs, take turns playing their own songs, and they'll talk about the songs, talk about the reasons they wrote them, the inspiration, the stories behind them. Occasionally, they'll jump in and play a little lead guitar on each other's songs, and chances are there will be some a little stand-up comedy going on as well. I expect that Jerry and Kelly will give each other a little hell when they get a chance to.
Well, any chance they get, it's always great.
And both these guys, Dennis and Kelly, both have won awards for their music.
Yeah, Kelly, actually, in 2008, he actually won the Album of the Year at the Texas Music Awards for his album Boat and Belize. And in 2012, he won the Songwriter of the Year at the Trop Rock Music Awards. So he's done very well with that. I'll go ahead and mention, too, that Dennis has won the Duo Trio of the Year for Tropical Soul in years 2013 and 2014. So they're a really fun band. A lot of fun.
Yes, both great accomplished writers for sure. Again, that show is Wednesday, November 19th at T-Bone Tom's in Kemah, Texas. Music starts at 6:30. It's a free show, family friendly, so bring all your friends, bring the kids. Come on out, support live music, support Pirates and Poets, and we hope to see you there. Right now, we are going to play some music.
Yeah, let's play from Kelly McGuire. How about Boat and Belize?
All right.
Yeah.
By Kelly McGuire, this is Boat and Belize.
Sits at the bar while he's waiting for charters. He's up at the crack of noon. At night he's at Fido's, dancing with ladies. He's a strikingly handsome dude. It don't get much better. Sent his ex-wife a letter, said there won't be any alimony soon. I've been captured by natives of a third world country under a Central American moon. He's got a boat in Belize, locked in San Pedro, a coconut fall from the bar. He's got his back to the beach on his favorite bar stool. He don't have to stumble too far. He plies his trade in the islands, trying to forget what he left far behind. It's just what it seems. He's living his dream down in Belize. Now the turquoise waters, tickled by palm trees, blowing in the tropical breeze. Barbecue Sundays, Bruce on the Barbie, the Palapa bar down at BC's. Expats and islanders, sailors and pirates and divers, and those with a scam. And tourists that meet him, like me, wanna be him, and we're trying to come up with a plan. He's got a boat in Belize, docked in San Pedro, a coconut fall from the bar. He's got his back to the beach on his favorite bar stool. He don't have to stumble too far. He plies his trade in the islands, diving, trying to forget what he left far behind. He's just what he seems. He's living his dream down in Belize. San Pedro, a coconut fall from the bar. He's got his back to the beach on his favorite bar stool. He don't have to stumble too far. He flies his trade in the islands, diving and trying to forget what he left far behind. He's just what he seems. He's living his dream down in Belize. Just what he seems. He's loving his dream with a boat in Belize.
Again, that was Boat in Belize by Kelly McGuire from his award-winning album of the same name. I kind of sounded like a radio DJ there, didn't I?
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of weird. But
it is kind of weird.
Kind of creeping me out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say.
All right, on top of Kelly, we are also going to have our good buddy Dennis from the band Tropical Soul in town as well. Dennis will play the Pirates and Poets show in Kemah on Wednesday the 19th, and he is actually going to be doing a tour of Texas over that weekend, along with his conga player, Dan. They're going to be using Dammit Earl's equipment.
I just found that out today.
He did just find that out, but it's all cool.
Apparently, it's just been volunteered, but it's okay.
We're nice fellows that take care of our fellow musicians, even though we're not really musicians. Anyway, on Thursday, November 20th, Dennis will be in San Antonio playing the San Antonio Parade Club's monthly happy hour. And the next night, on Friday the 21st, he will be at Stingaree Marina in Crystal Beach.
We love Crystal Beach.
Yes, we love Crystal Beach. And then the next day, on Saturday the 22nd, Dennis will be back here in the Kemah Clear Lake Shores area playing a house concert.
And that's going to be at the One-Eyed Lizard. And if you've never seen the One-Eyed Lizard, it's an experience we all love. Matter of fact, we spent some time over there Saturday night.
I wish I'd spend a little less time there.
Well, there's going to be a house concert. It's going to be at 2 p.m. And the One-Eyed Lizard is located on Clear Lake Shores. It's just right here at Kemah. And we're all right here in the same area, and we love it. And we're literally less than a mile from T-Bone Tom's. So it's easy to find. For anyone to get information about that show, go to piratesandpoets.net. There's a Facebook page set up. And what else, John Boy?
If you've never been to a house concert, and maybe people have never been to one, never heard of them, basically what it is it's kind of a house party. Musicians come in and play at somebody's house, and this time they're going to be playing on the porch at the One-Eyed Lizard. Instead of one person hiring the musician and paying them money out of their pocket, you throw this party and you ask everybody that comes to donate. In this case, we're asking everybody to donate $10 to help offset Dennis's travel. As I said before, he's coming all the way from Pennsylvania, so he's got some expenses to offset. If you want to join us on Saturday the 22nd for that house concert, visit piratesandpoets.net. Click on house concerts. You can find all the information. You can go ahead and make your donation right there and reserve your seat. Really hope everybody will come out and join us on that day as well. If you got any questions, feel free to email me or Dammit Earl. We're going to give out both of our email addresses here before the end of the show. And now it is time for another song.
All right. I think we should play one of Dennis's songs, and this is Tropical Soul doing a song called Sweet Love.
All right, here we go.
I got no reason to be living all alone in a place like this. Dark and dusty and chilly to the bone. I'm just looking for one more kiss. I don't know why the sun don't shine. I'm gonna change your mind, 'cause sweet love is gonna find a way to open up your breaking heart. Sweet love is gonna shine, baby. Ain't nobody gonna make it stop but you. I've been down and I've been kicked around 1,000 lonely days and nights. I hear you breathing and reaching out for me, feel my heart start to come alive. I don't know why the sun don't shine, but I'm gonna change your mind, 'cause sweet love is gonna find a way to open up your breaking heart. Sweet love is gonna shine, baby. Ain't nobody gonna make it stop but you. I don't know why the sun don't shine, but I'm gonna change your mind, 'cause sweet love is gonna find a way to open up your breaking heart. Sweet love is gonna shine, baby. Ain't nobody gonna make it stop but sweet love is gonna find a way to open up your breaking heart. Sweet love is gonna shine, baby. Ain't nobody gonna make it stop but you.
All right, that was Dennis McCaughey from Tropical Soul, and we really love his music. So,
We're excited to have him coming to Texas next week.
oh yeah, I saw them. Actually, I saw he and Kelly and Jerry, all three, in Key West last week. It was a great time, and it was really good seeing all them together too.
And
So
in
it-
fact, your Key West adventures are going to be the subject of probably the third or fourth podcast we do.
oh my,
Yes.
Okay.
So Uncle Earl gets to hang out with all kinds of really cool people in Key West, so we're going to get him to tell a few stories. It'll be fun. It is almost time for us to wrap up today. Again, I want to remind you, if you want to find out about any of the shows that we have talked about, you can find us online at piratesandpoets.net. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/portapirates. You can email me directly at johnboy820@gmail.com.
or you can email me, dammitearl@yahoo.com.
Yeah, this is the first one, so if you listen and you like it, you could shoot us an email and let us know that somebody actually listened to it besides Cooler Dave.
That would
Yeah.
actually be great because we're not really sure if anyone's going to listen. We're just afraid we're talking
To
to each other.
each other, which we'd be doing anyway, but we wouldn't be messing with all this gear if we were just talking to ourselves. Want to give thanks, shout outs to a few people. Our great friends Matt and Kelly Raylene, who are going to be on the next episode, talking about their wonderful rum and agave products. Our great friends Barry and Melissa Terrell and the entire crew at T-Bone Tom's. Our good friend Dennis, the One-Eyed Lizard Roberson, for loaning us the RCA cord that made this podcast possible. And our buddy Greg Dumas from New Orleans for recording the intro and outros for us.
And we definitely have to say, shout out to Kelly and to Dennis. And I want to say especially to Jerry Diaz for all that he's helped us with.
Viva El Jefe!
Viva El Jefe! So the support of these people have been outstanding, and certainly are a must for each of us, and we're really happy that Greg Dumas actually helped us out and did our intro and outros
Yes.
for the show. So,
All right, gang. Thank y'all for listening. If anybody's actually listening, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Pirates and Poets podcast. Please remember to support all of our sponsors and visit us online at www.piratesandpoets.net.